Niala suashu nayahi. Nayala soyo asha nayala kuyana. Ni mayala wako nayahi nuya. Nia soto veshea, inte. Inimalondo di avando ishena inayako kiashanate liaso. Good day, good love, good light, illuminators, way showers, creator beings. Welcome to this full moon, full buck moon, as our Native Americans thus named it on this July day. Welcome. As we explore this day's full moon energies and the transformations that have definitely been taking place these last several days. My name is Wendy. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to my channel, this is Dave. And once again, we were just excited to do an impromptu hangout today, just to share some wonderful vibrations, transformational light language transmissions. If you're new to my channel and you're interested more about light languages, spiritual guidance, channeling your spirit guides, empowering you to be the creator being that you wish to be, that you desire to be, and in that sharing is the eloquence of the sharing of sessions. So if you're interested in learning more about me, my journey, light languages in general, or specifically if you're looking to do a private session or perhaps a multi-person gathering, myself and Dave are available for that, as well as oracle messages. I also create symbols, galactic and sacred symbols for people, which I share, and I've got several of those that I share on my website as well, languagesoflights.com, and all of the information is below. And today I wanted to also celebrate the completion, this idea of the coming full circle with things. And so one of the things I wanted to share with all of you today is a new deck to me, a new oracle deck, and a few other messages. And so I want to see if there's anything that you wanted to share, Dave, right now before we get started. So thank you and welcome. And if you've got a particular question, and you want to pull a specific card, otherwise know that all of these messages are for all of us. And present are my guides as well as your guides, and the infiniteness of all of our fractals, the parallel versions of all of us that come and gather at this table each and every time that we lovingly share these ideas and these how we apply these messages, these higher dimensional and higher vibrational essences and understandings, understandings, and how we apply them in our day-to-day life to literally empower us, to remind us the gods and goddesses that we are, and I'm reminded just now even to remind us that we created the planets. We created our moon. The moon does not necessarily drive us, but we have created it as a sign and a symbol for us to, whether it's to grow the crops by the moon, whether it's the influences that the moon has on our planet. We designed that. We designed it. We designed it to interact with all that we are, and we designed it to interact with the water within us. We've designed it to interact with all of the species on our planet, every single being, every atom, everything. We have designed it to move with us and work with us. And I got sidetracked for a second.
Am I distracting you?
Yes, you are. Sorry. He was doing something on the computer behind me. I'm like, wait, what's happening?
Well, we wanted to go live on the computer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it wasn't working.
For whatever
The
reason,
video
yeah,
wasn't
we
working,
just couldn't
so
get it to work. So now we decided to just do it
we're
from
doing
my
that from.
mobile and just go live from my mobile. So,
So on the computer, which is in front of us, were the failed attempts at connecting to the video screen.
okay.
So
That's why I was like, what happened? Are
yeah,
we live? Are we not live? What's happening?
we're
So, with that said, um,
so
so
welcome everyone.
yes, and I think I'll
Oh,
be.
and
Oh,
welcome our ET
oh
friends.
yes, our ET friends. Yes, and of course, as always, as I was saying, welcome all of our guides, extraterrestrial, extra dimensional, interdimensional. In between the dimensions, all of our parallel parts are always present in these gatherings, and that's what's so exciting about the power of the sharing. And I will say that today, a lot of us that I've seen across the globe today in social media has felt something very significant in a shift,
Can
even
you
in
feel the shift?
even in the last day. And I think it's kind of funny when I think about it because we've probably been saying the same thing for 10 years and yet it's palpable and every now is new and every now is now. And even that moment didn't really exist. We're just observing it from another perspective in this now. And but I did want to. It was interesting that I've been in the last couple of days, and I was even this morning, even before I realized it was the the buck moon. Um, I was literally in this deer energy, the energy of the deer. And I was even talking to Dave about how often he reminds me of in certain profiles, he reminds me of a gentle deer. And I actually knew someone who um, called themselves gentle deer as well. And it's interesting because then he said that there were deer in our yard last night, and I've just been thinking about them and was reminded about their energy, and then realized today was the buck moon, so I realized that that was why I was also engaged in that energy because of course we are all connected to everything. And so today I wanted to maybe acknowledge and show my respect for these beautiful animals today, and as did our Native American brothers and sisters. And so I'm deeply in the animal spirit today, the moon spirit, and of course we know that the moon seems to, as we were saying earlier, we are connected because we designed it to be connected. It is a permission slip. It's the moon is something that we have designed together as to create permission for all of us to discover more and more of all that we are. And that is why it's so important for us to share in these gatherings, because knowing thyself is God's journey, is Source's journey to know thyself, itself, through all of us. And we are the dreams and the imagination of Source itself. And I've been deeply reminded of this lately, very profoundly, actually. And so without further ado, I wanted to share um, I'm going to try to pick this up here. So I was going through my decks this morning, so there was a couple interesting synchronicities with that as well, of course. So this is the animal spirit deck that I wanted to share with all of you. I've shared this through several other videos, so if you're new to my channel, there's a variety of different types of light language and oracle messages, chakra activations, light language activations, channelings, and so forth. So my ET side and channeling those beings is really just another fractal and another focus of the spectrum of all that I am. And I wanted to share with you once again the message on the inside of this box May you always be on the inner quest. And really that is what this is all about, is the inner quest to know thyself. And so I wanted to start with showing you. And one of the things that I was reminded this morning is about the deer spirit is that the deer and being herbivores as they are, they don't prey on anything, and so their spirit, I find, and that's why I guess I feel that they have such a gentle spirit, is oh, and it's funny because even the card, so the number is 18. Oh, and I got an announcement. I got a reminder for you guys about that for the 18th. The deer spirit, bring a gentle touch. And I have to say, that's probably one of the things that I've admired so much about Dave since I met him, is his gentle touch that he brings to everything, especially when I'm in the midst of chaos. In the midst of my white storm, my
You are? I've never noticed that.
he always says that. I hadn't noticed. He's so sweet. And when we begin to venture away from our gentle spirit and reminding ourselves that we can always be that dear spirit. Yes, 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 yes.
Does that mean on?
No, but we're not using that one.
Okay.
See, we're both technically confused today.
Mm.
The gentle spirit, indeed. And to remind myself, and so as I went to sleep last night and woke up this morning, I realized I was the power is in the gentle touch. That the greatest power lies in the lightest touch, and so I realized that, of course, in every single moment we have that ability to switch and take whatever storm was going on inside, just like we talked about the other day with the cat in the hat and the chaos, and we realized that once we change our point of view, once we change our perspective, we allow the gentle in, whether it's allowing the gentleness in yourself, whether it's allowing you to be gentle with someone else, perhaps where we were judgmental, where can we be more empathetic and be more gentle. And I've definitely found that when I'm not gentle with me, is when I'm not gentle with the world around me. And that's factual for me. So yes, I was reminded of that as well. And we have an event coming up on July 18th. And so that I've been posting the event, and we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video as well, with our Q&A, live Q&A, and with Jonathan Trinity Martin on the 18th. And that we will be engaging and exploring with our ET friends there as well on the 18th with Jonathan. So please do join us, bring your questions. It's an open channeling, a live broadcast, and so we will be taking, he will be taking questions so if you have questions for Jonathan himself, it'll be 3 p.m. our time, Central Standard Time. So please do feel free to join us. And Dave set up a little registration thing on my website so that we can create little groups and more intimately be interactive in the group on my website pertaining to this event. So I thought that might be kind of fun. So thanks to Dave for playing around and setting things up. And actually, we're going to be doing some light language classes coming up, and so that'll be more to watch out for on the website. So we'll be scheduling more events there as well, and letting you know about those events, and how to connect with us and register for those events. So if this is just a free event, it's just the whole idea of registering really is that we're practicing a little bit with putting out events on my website and so forth, and hoping to gather people together for these specific events, so that we can kind of play together afterward and keep in touch. So that's kind of the main reason.
and one of the features is that when you register for the event, you can also join a group discussion
Yes. I
for
just
all the people who have registered on the event. So you could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but if you want to talk about things regarding the event before, during, and
Right,
after.
before you guys interact, I think, with each other too. So
Yes.
we're still experimenting with all of that. So we thought it would be fun to set that up too. And you know what? I just realized this deck is from this deck. This deck is from this box. The one I read to you was from a different set of cards, so my apologies. This deck is the Colette Baron Reed, the Spirit Oracle. And it's funny that on the front is the stag. And so, of course, I was guided to use this deck today. So, and the inside of this deck says, the spirits residing in the natural world have much to share, and the secrets of their forgotten language are now available to you. So I wanted to read that message inside as well, and just simply acknowledge that I had these mixed up. So that is the deck from that. So synchronicities too, that we've got the event coming up on the 18th, and that would be the first the first one that would show up. So we do hope that you join us, and we're very excited. This is something a little bit new for me too, although it's been a long time since I've done a live interview and had people on my channel. So it's not new, but it's new to me in this now, and doing it quite this way. So thanks for all your love and support. And the next card is what's on the front. The Stag Spirit, number 58. Take the lead. Take the lead. And I was feeling much of that today as well, when we understand that when we complete a cycle of negative patterns, we take the lead. We take the lead for ourselves, and we take the lead with respect to that we are empowering others to take the lead in their own lives, to remind each other that we create our own reality. And that's one of the themes for today, is about creating your own reality. And the first time I ever heard those words from Seth spoken, you create your own reality. And I said, how do I do that? I always thought my reality was set in stone, and that I'm just moving through the motions, and that I really don't have the power to change anything or create something, that I was simply taking a road rather than taking the lead. And so that was a very powerful message, in that when we feel as if we've moved through something so powerfully negative and come out on the side of enlightened and love for ourselves and relief and acceptance, non-judgment, when we come out on the other side of that, we're able to take the lead. And just by taking the lead in your own life, it's not that you have to be a leader or take the lead or lead a group, unless that's what excites you. What it means is just being the example of taking the lead of your own life and following your own highest joy and excitement as far as you can take it. I think Dave has something he wants to read.
Yeah, so this is, I was sort of guided to just look at this. In the book, the Stag Spirit is number 58, and this particular book does
13.
Which is today.
Today, 13, the number of transformation. I just realized that. I'm like, wait a second.
So in the book, they're numbered. So this particular book, the cards show up in the number properly.
Yes.
But I was guided to look at what the card before this was and what the card after it was. So the card before is the Squirrel Spirit. Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
And the card after is the Starfish, open to infinite possibilities.
That's a really great message, and especially sandwiched.
Take the lead is surrounded by believing in yourself and open yourself to infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities. Mm-hmm. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. And I've been deeply working with visualization and the idea that it's complete. So this idea of the full moon, completion, moving into the vibration of understanding, go to the end. Go to where it's already done. Go to that end. Go to not the how do I start. Go to the visualization of the end, the desire completed, the desire complete. And this has been told from every perspective, from for decades and decades, through motivational speakers as well as new channelers. This is not new information. It is the information. It is the God within you, the idea that you are everything, that you create absolutely everything that you see, and that God source wants you to be everything that you can be, have everything you desire, be everything you desire. And how when we hold back from that through fear, we are not shining the light of all that we are. And though we get to do it over and over again, the idea is to wake up within the dream and say, wait a second, I actually do what I focus is what is. And I've been practicing this over and over again, and I did it yesterday again, and and every time I ask myself, when I do something like this, how is this serving me? How is this serving me? Well, that's how it's serving me, to show me that
you create your own reality.
you create your own reality, exactly. So once I moved into the vibration of the completion of the thing became completed. And so I had a very vivid experience of that this morning. So it was interesting. And we weren't actually not even planning to really do a video today necessarily, but I was like, oh wait, it's the full moon. I have got to do a video today and share this excitement. And so so that was, I wanted to honor the stag spirit. And we did pull a couple of other of the animal spirits, and one of which I had a dream last night about a frog. So I just thought, okay, today's the day of number 13, which symbolizes transformation. And the 13th floor, go taking that the 13th rung, if you will. And this is number 28, which equals 1. Clear out the clutter. Interesting, because that's exactly what I've been doing. I was doing that all day yesterday. That's what I forgot to redo my nails. They look terrible. I was cleaning all day, clearing out clutter and cleaning. And so it's very interesting that happened to be in my dream last night. And so Dave pulled the card for me, and to see if perhaps that's significant for some of you as well. So
well, I found the card. I saw the card and reminded you about your dream.
That's true. That's true. And so I had forgotten that anyway. So, and today being the number of transformation, the idea of when you move through and see the other end of the stick, and knowing that you can look at either end of it, that the other end is equally as possible as the end that you're thinking, the negative side. Once you realize that is the transformation. The transformation's done. It's done at that point. You have completed it. And it's the belief that you've completed it, that you don't need any more process than that. It's done. And that's how I felt this morning. It's done. It's complete. It's done. And what I lost, I found. And as soon as I let go and said, okay, and as I was reminded many times last night, but I chose to stay in the vibration of the lost, not the found, and not the completion, and not seeing, and yet I was also seeing it, but I was bouncing. What do you call that? Vibrating, not vibrating back and forth, but yeah, changing my vibration moment by moment, but that's not the word I was looking for. Oscillating. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between the vibrations of lost and found and lost and found and lost and found, and the debilitating thoughts of the lost, and the freeing thoughts of the found, and the knowing that it's in the found is that the completion of it, that's going to be the realization of it. And so going to bed with that idea that I was going to find it. And that's funny, that's kind of funny now, I'm even chuckling at myself that I would dream about a frog. So, and the transformation of that thought, that belief, and really at the end of the day, just like me, just like everybody else, what do we really want to feel every day? Is we want to wake up in harmony with ourselves, loving ourselves, trusting our intuition, trusting that we can lead the way for ourselves, trusting we lead the way for ourselves. And again, if you really, really, really listen to these motivational speakers,
Mm-hmm.
we are God. God incarnated itself into us. That we are, once we understand, we create our reality because we are the God doing the thing that's creating it. It's not happening to us. It's happening for us, by us, through us. God is through us. It's part of us. Once we realize, actually realize that what we visualize is, and what we focus on is, this is where all of us as a collective human consciousness are moving. That is the ascension. That is the awareness. That is the awakening. That is what that is. It's waking up in the dream of limitation. Waking up in the dream of limitation and saying, wait a second. Wait. That's, I already know I create my reality. Now, how do I prove it to myself? By playing with it and realizing, okay, remember that thing that you were so afraid of that you weren't going to have, or that you couldn't afford, or that how did that work out? Somehow it worked out one way or the other. So in our pretend hindsight retrospect, we all always acknowledge, wow, we really did have what we needed when we needed it. We just didn't acknowledge it, or maybe we haven't in this now. Let's take this opportunity right now. That's one of the things that we like to do, is acknowledge, appreciate, and allow.
So I'm reminded also that when you're thinking about the things that you prefer and you're in the energy of having those things, if you add in the idea of how it could be for the good of all in integrity, you vastly multiply the energetic
Yes.
wanting and reception.
Vastly multiply. And the immediate flow back of the mirror image of that is so swift now that we literally are creating our reality faster and faster and faster, and feeling that we're able to create these things faster and faster and faster once we actually remind ourselves to move into the vibration of its completeness, of its doneness. And it's interesting because the next card is the antelope spirit, which Dave pulled as well, in the spirit of the deer and stag spirit. And it's interesting, this life is speeding up. You feel it even in this card. You feel it. It's speeding up, and everything that I saw this morning, whether it was private messages from my friends, I'm feeling this, and messages that people were sharing on YouTube and Facebook and so forth, were this idea of like, wow, what happened? I feel like everything's speeding up. Everything shifted last night. Everything's moving faster, and we use the moon as sort of a compass for these things as well. And I'm feeling like, oh wow, it's already the full moon again, and it was just the full moon. And so I'm reminded too that I think this is the full moon in Capricorn, so that we've got the ram also, that ram spirit, that strength, and the horns, and and it reminded me of, what's that instrument?
Shofar.
Shofar. Yes, it reminded of the shofar. Blowing the shofar, and take that idea of taking the lead, and speeding up the desires, speeding up the coming to fruition and the reality of those desires. Flasheta intera sandaya la kotavesha morioso teara pasheta inaya takoya le shosovesha noto In Vashana Tovialantia, and there's always that ebb and flow, the time for rest and the time for speeding up, and the time for rest and the time for speeding up. La Zotai Shanantia, la Kotaveshono Tavese, Sivashono Toe. And I'm reminded of something that was in a Cryon that said that about how you're often you plant the seeds for something and but you know that you're planting it for harvest for another time, and that you know that it has to have this time to allow the process. And if I'm remembering that, the simple
Well, also the Neville Goddard that we were listening
Yes.
to happens to
Neville
I mean,
Goddard, yes. If you guys
he-
listen to Neville Goddard, it's like listening to the channelers of today.
Yeah. And that was the 40s, right?
It just amazes me.
But
Yeah.
he talks about the idea of planting seeds similar to uh, giving birth,
Yes.
and the idea of all things are birthed from within. And of course, humans, we have a pretty good idea of how long that takes. But when you plant the seed, you really don't know how long it's going to take for the thing to be birthed. And you don't need to be concerned about it. You
You just know
that
it's
it's going to
be
happen,
Yes.
and allow it to happen in its
Yes.
proper timing. So we plant all these seeds. Could be today, could be tomorrow.
And it's
and I think that the idea of being in the energy to allow it to attract to you is true, but there is also a timing.
Yes, and it's funny that he used animals
Mhm.
in this particular one I listened to, as it takes 10 months, no, a year for a horse, I think
Mhm.
he said, 9 months for a
Yeah.
human, and then he used, I forget the third analogy, but it was like really quick, something really fast.
Uh,
What was the third one? I forget now. And it was something that just took a very short amount of time, like a month or something.
Yeah, and he
Uh,
said, and I mean, he did say, I don't know how long these things take. I don't,
Right,
I don't even care.
I don't even care.
I
Don't
know
need to
it's
know. I
going to
just
happen,
know.
and it's going to happen at the right time. And that sort of aligns also with the idea of, you know, after you've created the energetic signature of being in the thing happening, enjoying the thing happening, being there, enjoying and experiencing all of that, you let it go. And he says the same exact thing, pretty much.
And I was just reminded when I hear the words "know thyself" that it's as if God is also saying, Source is also saying, "Know thyself," in that know thyself. Know that once you put it out there, if you know thyself as a creator being, as the power behind, you're not waiting for somebody else to bring it to you. You're not praying for something else to happen to you. Once you understand it's already here and now, it's already complete. Once we all begin to truly embody that, we begin to understand that we know thyself so fully that we know that which we desire, and then allow the universe to bring it to us in whatever is the most magical way for us individually, is the way it will come in whatever is our perfect timing for that moment.
And I do want to remind everyone that we are live, and I'm watching for
Watching the
chats,
chat, so if you guys want to
anyone
leave a
can
question,
participate.
comment, and so I wanted to show you this. So on the animal spirit deck, this is the deer card. Again, such a gentle image, and that's really what I'm feeling today. Is this completion for so many about feeling gentle again, feeling gentle with yourself, being gentle with each other, feeling a sense of empathy and community that we have never felt before. This genuine seeing each and every brother and sister as God incarnate, as are you, as are we all. and to move into that vibration. And by moving into that vibration, that is how we then come more into open contact with our spirit guides, our ET friends and family, other interdimensional, our nature spirits, all of the elements, elementals. So this moving into the vibration of knowing thyself so fully and completely that you know that whatever you've ordered. Again, I was reminded about that I forget who used that analogy with the waitress. You don't place your order with the waitress and then you ask her every time she walks by, oh, did you I want to place my order, did you remember to place my order, and did you, yes, I placed your order, trust it's coming. So the more we do that, the more we're in a vibration of begging for something, because we're begging for it because we believe we don't already have it. If you don't believe you already have it, we can't bring it to us. This is, all of us knows this is old news. This is old news. It's the new news is that we're finally moving the compass needle as a human collective consciousness. We're finally moving that compass needle to where more and more and more of us are engaging in that vibration. I wanted to see if there was anything, where's my glasses? I want to see if there was anything on here that I wanted to touch base on. Okay, and these are very quick reads. I just...
Greetings from Hungary.
Hi! Hello!
Zeni Habozo.
Ya tove se so on. And I wanted to remind everybody, I didn't turn my globe on today, so I've got my globe back here that I pass by every day to say hello to all of you all across the world. So much love and hugs from across the world. Our dear spirit, loving, intuitive, graceful, the mother. The deer represents the feminine aspects of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures, regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. Talking about birth a few moments ago. During the first few days, they are fully present, nurturing and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them toward a quiet tenderness. The deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of a new life, and this means a new life of anything, you guys, even a realization, draws near. A new celebration of a new life draws near. And maybe it's your new life that's drawing near. Or when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. And when this is in balance, we're receptive, compassionate, and nurturing. And I really love, and I wanted to also share the synchronicity, you guys, in that I was shuffling and looking for the deer through the deck. And funny thing is I opened up the book and the deer card fell out because I had already had it in the book from the last time, which, there's only now. So what's even funnier is I haven't moved it yet, but I opened the book to the next one, the frog. So who knows what the last reading that I did, that I also acknowledged the deer and the frog, but here's the frog. Clearing, cleansing, healing. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of its life entirely within the healing element and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, its need for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. So, of course, in this message I'm hearing, and this is for all of us, and I was thinking about myself as well, in that they tend to become overworked and undernourished, and I often will do that, as a matter of fact, because of my worry over the thing that I lost, um, it completely discombobulated my whole sense of nourishment last night, and it just completely threw me off. I didn't want to eat. I was so upset, and yet had I moved into the vibration of its completeness and doneness first, and even though I knew it, and I was like, I would still oscillate. Yes, I'm okay. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm okay. No, I'm not. And because of that, I definitely went into a self-sabotaging spiral of feeling about myself. And so it was like I knew I had to be gentler with myself. And again, that is one of the things that is, you know, Dave's gentle spirit and my fiery, I've got to do this now. So I was thinking about that too, and that, but the idea of how many of us, even in our spiritual journey, we're working so hard at it, yet it's by the being gentle and the rejuvenation of the gentleness of the water and letting go, that we practice self-care. And so the self-care becomes so much more necessary. And to realize that through self-care is one of the ways that we actually create the reality we desire. So, but definitely a transformational energy, transformational card. It was definitely really funny that I had a dream about that last night. So, so we've definitely got the earth energies as well as the water energies here. And isn't that really what the moon is all about? Is the earth energies and the water energies, and how they interact and play with each other. And
I'm reminded too that the moon reflects the light to us.
Well, that is the whole point of the moon coming to us, is to give us that light in the dark and remind us that there's always light in the dark. And even though it waxes and wanes, it's always present. It's always present. And even in that new moon time, when it's invisible, that doesn't mean the moon's not there. It's still there. I was reminded too of this, that this deck also has a saying inside: 2 feet, 4 feet, scales or hide. May our minds stay open and our wings span wide. I absolutely love that saying. So I think that that's a message for at least one, if not more, more of us. I wanted to celebrate today and share just a little bit that when I was very first waking up, and I was very, very involved in astrology, very interested in it all my life. I didn't study it enough to do charts and things like that. I was just really, really excited about it. The idea of how the moon and the stars affect us. Do they affect us? How do they affect us? How do we use those? And so when I was very young, like so many, I think, in their awakening, subscribed to a lot of different types of astrology books and types of and YouTube channels and that kind of thing. And we still do. I mean, I'm still excited about it. I still will often watch my sun signs and watch my, astrology readings, and every now and then I'm just guided, and so I know that there's a message, a synchronistic message for me. So when I was first waking up, and I remember it was right before I found like channeling, and before I found Bashar and Abraham, I had been already connecting with my angels and doing it purposefully, and meditating, lighting a candle in the morning. And so I was already sort of starting that practice. And I was watching one of my horoscopes one day, and it was on a particular site that I was sort of watching her as several other readers from Australia, the UK. So, hey, everybody across the pond. And I was just so enamored, and it was like, how did they know? How is it that these messages are so for me? Like, how does that work? It was like, how do I? And then I began to understand that if you're watching it, you're guided to it by your guides, your higher self, so forth. because there's a message for you. So of course it's going to resonate. And what doesn't resonate with you, just like an oracle card, is simply a guidepost to say, oh, is that the energy I'm in? I think I prefer something different, or oh my God, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And so it shows us either we're on track or maybe we need to get back on track a little bit. So I went to click on her channel, and I'm almost positive she had this sort of little link, and all it did was play a short recording, and it was in the voice of Jane Robertson channeling Seth, and that's all it said was, you create your own reality. I felt the weirdest, strangest, freakiest rush. It like, and I don't know if it was the voice, I think it was the energy of Seth. Something, it was as if it reached right through the screen, grabbed my heart and my solar plexus, and just shook me to the core. It was like I just sat there and wept. I'm like, what the hell just happened to me? It was, and I know if so many of us that have our spiritual awakenings, it's like, we just cry and weep out of sheer, I don't know what, like realization, relief, release, acknowledgement, something happened. And I was like, bam. And so I literally changed my reality that day. It was like right after that I found Bashar, oh, that's what happened. Right after that, I was guided to look up 1111. What does that mean? Why do I always see it? Why have I been seeing it all my life? What's with all these repeating numbers? What is with all this stuff? So I started seeing all that, and then it guided me to literally look it up. Don't know why I never thought of it before. So I just looked it up, and I just, again, was burst into tears. I thought, oh my God, it's a light worker's awakening code? What's that? I honestly, and that was right around, it was approaching and then became 2011. It was like, boom, that was it. The code, literally, it woke me up. The page that I was on was Yasmin Bolin. And I can't believe it that I never looked for these cards before or even thought about it. But one day, Dave and I were in a metaphysical shop, and I saw her deck, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, it all came rushing back to me. The cycle, the completion. I've come full circle. And look at the inside. Now, I've never opened these cards before, so this is a brand new deck and reveal for me. Moonology Oracle Cards by Yasmin Bolin, and artwork by Nyx Rowan, and Let the Moon Be Your Guide. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys today. So here's the back of the cards. And it was funny because I had been waiting for a particular day to be guided to use these cards. So I'm really, really excited. So I haven't even shuffled them, haven't touched them. So all of your energy, if you guys are watching while we're doing this, or even afterward, whenever it is, it's always now. So bringing in all of your love and guidance and energy into this deck, and knowing that every time that we do a reading together with these cards, and anytime I do a reading with them, from here forward, all of your love and guidance and support of all your guides as well. And look, the very card is the full moon. So I like I said, I haven't shuffled them yet, and this says, show the world the real you. So what a beautiful message for this full moon today. Show the world the real you. And that message is once again just as much for me as it is for all of you. Show the world the real you. And how often we're so afraid to show our vulnerable side, our sad side, our troubled side, our nervous side, our anxious side, our vulnerable and raw sides, our real sides. But yet that's what the world is waiting for all of us to show our love for each other and for ourselves. So I'm very excited to unveil the deck with all of you today, and again, show the world the real you. Where are you guys? Where are all of you being guided to show the world the real you? So I'm very excited to see what else what other messages come through on the Moonology deck, and to share with all of you a little bit of my own little awakening experience, and my sometimes I forget that I don't always share some of the things that were going on in my own reality when I was awakening, and that maybe sometimes these things would be synchronistic for all of you as well. So is there anything that you'd like to share today after I've been talking so much? Light language, any messages? Merci so much, abrazo.
Sure. Let me bless your cards before you pick them.
Okay.
Na ua te e ka na te ia te aiwa te e ka ane te ia na ua ia te ia ane tia. Porcha Cardinal Nachalam Shachiana became one with Higiana Lasman Hazard.
Okay, tell everybody what that was.
It's a blessing for welcoming the new things.
In Hebrew.
In Hebrew.
Welcoming the new things. So as we have this day of completion, we welcome the new things. Oh yes, the Yael. Well, it just made me think of the Yael and the video, the confirmations that we've just been receiving about the Yael, the hybrid race. That'll be the first hybrid race to come to bring the hybrid children, and so I was just now reminded of that, and we'll be sharing a little bit more of that.
And I guess I could say a lot of the shifts that you may feel the last day or so, it's all really in preparation for the higher vibrations that are necessary to meet more of our ET friends. And as the vibrations increase, the things that don't belong to you are trying harder and harder to leave. So you could look at it also as, negative belief systems, which is part of that, but not necessarily all of it. So as you feel the pressure of these things, if you look at it as though being prepared for higher vibrations and embrace it and be less resistant to it and understand that these things are being presented to you, so you have the opportunity to choose how you want to look at it, what the meaning is for it, because you always get to decide your own meaning for all of these things. And so these shifts that we feel may be precluded by what we might feel as difficult energies, but that's just really getting used to those higher frequencies. And when you've integrated them, then you feel the shift, and that could happen moment by moment by moment. It's up to you how quickly you want to integrate them.
And I'm reminded right now, oh boy, there it goes again, my glasses fog up. I'm reminded that we created this galaxy. We created this for our exploration. We co-created this with these sentient beings, these planets, these embodiments of I'm reminded too that even the moon and our spheres, our spherical, I'm hearing incarnations, but is also source expressing itself as source. So there's source expressing itself as the moon, and then there's source expressing itself as us, and then we co-creatively express ourselves together. And how do we move with source, with this new third co-creation? Nezevashono pela ezotu vishasu miteveno ki pasotu vishanu piara katea sanashete. You're very close to achieving your goal. And again, although this is the gibbous moon, it does appear. Look at how brilliant and full and beautiful. And I've been sharing on my Facebook page, I've also been sharing photographs that I've been taking the last couple of days of the moon. So I'm hoping, it's kind of cloudy today, so I was hoping to get out and do maybe some light language moon activations tonight, transmissions looking at the moon. So perhaps we'll get some clear skies tonight. You're very close to achieving your goal. So I know that, yes, I know that this is also a message for me as well as for all of you in whatever now that this message comes to you. Navasoporeshe tinteala sepultori lande alasono toveshe kindare vesotoveshaya masovasono ala kelavandoroku kavasho tu sheme seve londor vashateana kise taliana.
Is it the full moon in Gemini?
No, I don't think so. I believe it's the full moon in Capricorn. If I'm not mistaken, I think I just saw that. We had I can't remember if we already had the full moon or the new moon in Gemini. I think it was the full moon in Gemini already. Oh, is this the card you pulled?
Well.
Oh my God!
They
what
were
a perfect
sort of popping out at me.
What a perfect message! Oh my God! Oh my God! That's today. Wait, what? Okay. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. Today's the full moon in Capricorn. I'm almost positive. Oh my gosh. Wow, I love synchronicities. The end of a cycle approaches. That's it. It's done. The end of the cycle. It's done. It's here. It's now. Activate this belief within yourself. Activate the belief within yourself. Make the decision right now that the end of a cycle, it's done. It's done. Nelova teveshesea. Seno tovela elovoko private. Lezono toveshano se elashi shanakaya. Thank you all once again for joining us, whether it's live, whether it's on Memorex. That's an old commercial.
And remember,
nothing is yet set in stone. The mutable moon.
It's up
to you. Nothing is ever set in stone, and we're just walking the path to
choose wisely.
We get to choose. Although our higher soul, our soul, has created a theme for itself, we're reminded in this now that we decide, though, how we choose to, as Bashar says, you're going to go down the hallway one way or the other. You can do it kicking and screaming, or you can do it dancing and singing. Either way, but go down the hallway we will. Go down this road we will. How will we lead the way? And how will you lead your own way? And when will we, as individual souls, not when, I shall say it is now, that we are awakening to that idea that we are the ones who decide. We are the ones who decide which way the reflection, what is going to be reflected back to us. Nesivasodo ashani te inteasa kilesho morove initi tiarasoke kiashote. I was looking to see if there was anything more that we wanted to share today. Was thinking, was there anything else
I want you to ring your little
I was,
bell.
which one? Oh, my chimes?
Your chimes.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've had my chimes out, so I've been unpacking and creating our space here, and if you can see here, Dave, behind Dave. Over the earth is our ever loving eye of source, watching over the globe and watching over all of us and all of you, and watching over and blessing all the cards. So so here and there we've been adding magical little additions to our spaces in all the places that we wish to share and gather with all of you. And so it's very exciting to bring our world to you, and we're very excited when you bring your world to us. And so I think I was thinking if there's anything else I wanted to share before we close today. And
Yes.
yes.
When you're done watching the video.
Oh yes.
Make it a point to go outside, and however nature-y that
you can be.
to
So
you.
we know that it's winter in the southern hemisphere, so even if you can just walk out and get a breath of that cold, brisk air, maybe lick a couple of snowflakes.
and share the energy that you feel with the world around you.
And we feel that energy, and we share our energy with you in that way as well. And so we appreciate that, and I literally feel it. I can feel all of you thinking about us, and so it's very exciting. So whether it's summer or winter where you are, take that moment to get out there and share that energy with the earth itself. Share the energy with the moon and the sun. As I was guided this morning to remind us all that when we gather this way together, that upon its completion of this gathering, that whenever it is that you're watching or feeling or seeing this or remembering, that you take the culmination of what it is that you feel. And even if you can't articulate what you're feeling, that's okay. You don't have to articulate it. You just have to share it. And so the idea was to get outside, and whether you want to call it grounding, but they invited us simply to call it sharing, because they are literally, I say those beings who are excited to share that now with you because of your vibration that you're in that moment, that you're sharing all of those experiences, physical and non-physical, with all of the beings who are present in that now with you. And of course, with all that is, because of course we are all part of all that is. And therefore, by you sharing what you do, what you love with all that is, it of course will serve you as well, because if you are by nature part of all that is, and a part of source and the eyes and breath of source itself, of God itself, creating itself through you for its own experience. So that is what we love to share. That is what we love to remind everybody and empower us all to remember, that we do create our own reality, and that we're all going on this ride together, one way or the other. And there's just there's so much I always want to share. So we always love your sharing in return. So please do always feel free to leave us your questions and comments. And if you'd like to contact me, you can contact me and Dave, or Dave through languagesoflights.com. And if you'd like a session, or just to hang out, just to have a chat, if you have any questions, if you're looking to do explore your own light languages and channeling abilities, and how you can more fully connect with your guides, your angels, your spirit itself, your higher self, and how we can together connect with more fully all of our guides and become the frequency of allowing all of us to share an interaction with beings from other places and dimensions and realities and planets.
And if you need help with your
Oh,
website
yeah.
or internet related stuff, I'm very good at that. And you could contact us as well about that if you are interested.
Yes, and it's kind of like websites with the spirit of love and integrity and awareness, and whether it's a tiny business or a big business, or if you're an individual just starting out. I just talked to a friend who just started her recently her own LLC. So whatever it is that you're out there looking to expand and grow, uh, and you're looking to implement the new vibration of that into your website. I think that's really what the message too with at least my observation of what Dave is looking to accomplish with that. So, and again, a lot of you already have your websites. You've already maybe have the basics, and maybe there's some tweaks or some little programming things that you might want to include that you're not sure how to do or don't do the programming part of it. So whether it's a part of it or all of it, it's funny that he's as shy about telling him about himself as I am about myself. So it's kind of funny how we can reflect that off of each other and show our gratitude and appreciation for each other's work as well. So it's pretty exciting. So so yeah, we'll put his he's got a link for his website as well. Yeah, so
Well, so
or you can reach us through Languages of Lights.
yeah, the idea is, as we want to display more of who we truly are, how do we want those things to look and be reflected not only back to us but to others? So part of what I've been doing is looking at my own website. I had to recreate it. So what do I really want to say about myself
Right.
and the things that I bring and offer to the universe? And looking at everything in a higher consciousness way. The idea of marketing and the idea of creating limitations from the start, all of those ideas I'm integrating into the website. So it is more a representation of the future self that I would want others to see. And so what I have in there now, and we'll put a link in the description, but what I have in there now is sort of a starting point. And as I look at it, I think more and more, well, I'm not really sure
Right.
if this really represents me in my highest joy.
So we're exploring just like everyone else. I mean, we're exploring with my website as well and integrating new things and new ideas. And so with that said too, with the upcoming event on July 18th with Jonathan, Trinity Martin, if you want to hop on over to the website and go to the events page and just let us know your comment. And then that way we can I want to start experimenting again, as we said, with creating some groups and more kind of interactive, close-knit stuff, and to be able to interact directly, as Dave said earlier, before, during, and after the events, to stay in touch, keep abreast of all any other new events coming. And if you'd like to donate to my page, I actually, that's something I don't really think about to ask either, but everything I do is on a donation basis. So even all my sessions are, whatever it is that you can or wish to donate to the channel or for a session, everything is acceptable. And because we believe that abundance is abundance, and the sharing is abundance, and to allow the opportunity to accept all forms of abundance in any way that we can, and without limiting the people that we get to correspond with and interact with because of money. So 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 if you'd like to donate to the channel, and we've also got currently the way it's set up too is if you like, you can even do a couple of dollars a month, and buy us a cup of coffee a month, and a lot of private sessions. If you spread it out over 12 months, it's only a couple of dollars a month. So if there's anything that you'd like to do just to share your love and support for our channel and for our continuing joy as well, and we appreciate absolutely every sharing of every kind. So and we include all forms of abundance.
And we're noticing that a number of high profile
yes,
people offering their goods and services that have in the past were basing things on monetary only, have been slowly migrating and experimenting with the idea of the sharing, and not to say that it's all free, but they've been experimenting with different ways of allowing the person to choose, as opposed to dictating
a specific
amount and making it all, really based
and
on the money.
And that's the way
we're experimenting with
all of that too.
as well.
I mean, I've always been that way too with my channel, and that if anybody ever came to me and wanted a session, and money was an issue for them, I just wanted to take that out of the equation and allow that, whether it is you want to pay for what you consider a full session, or if you just can't, in your circumstances in that moment, the sharing is what it's all about. So,
and we know that using our imagination, the highest version of ourselves is not concerned about money as being the form of exchange. So,
not that we don't welcome that
a
form of abundance as well, but it seems limiting.
But I mean, watch any let's just say Star Trek episode. There's trade that happens in Star Trek, but for the most part, I mean, when you're traveling through space and meeting new civilizations and doing all kinds of things, you can't put out $1 bill and say,
"Here you go,
I need lunch," because that's meaningless to them. So, we're using our imagination as best as we can to bring into our reality a solution that matches more of those high vibrations.
Exactly. And so
we're gonna have the opportunity to really experiment with that. And
absolutely. And I mean, and there will be paid events that I'll be offering, and non-paid events, but primarily there's ever since I started this channel, it was because of my excitement in sharing, and that was all it was about, and it still is. And that is what it has been for me for the last 7 years. And if one person is enriched by anything that I've shared, then I am beyond humbled and grateful.
So, if you happen to have an extra bottle of Romulan ale, we will take that in exchange for some service that you might want.
Absolutely. So, and there's a lot of people out there who have businesses of their own, so we're always open to exchange, barter. It's all forms of abundance, in which money is only one. They're all energy. And so we never want to limit ourselves. And I've mentioned that many times, that even on that shelf behind me is contained so many gifts from all of you from all over the world, of which I can't tell you how my heart just explodes with the overflowing love from all of you every time I look at any of those objects, whether it's just a stone or a shell or a painting that you created, um, anything at all. It's just I've received so much love and support in those ways as well. So which are always welcome. And with that said, I just wanted to explain that a little bit more about how I am currently operating, and but
If you're watching this video, you're in our bandwidth, and you're going to be enjoying that too.
exactly. So
Might as well embrace it.
and remember, we all create our own reality, and what we believe to be true for ourselves is true for ourselves. And if we don't like the current belief that we're in and don't feel its truth inside of us, then follow your heart, follow your instincts, no matter where it takes you. And even if you decide to change your mind tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Change your mind tomorrow. But go with what you feel in that moment, what's right for you in that moment. And um, as Neville said, as long as you're following it with love, you can never, ever go wrong. As long as you're acting from love, it's never wrong. So I think that's a kind of a nice place to leave things, don't you?
Yes. Thank you.
We love you guys so much. Mwah. We so appreciate you being with us in this now and every now. And we're very excited to interact with you in every way that we possibly can. Nyatove eloso tumbiaraka. Flashono tovi shanataya asata. Kayuno fasho taliana. Niali tu naya he. Nami aloese haku naya hilune. Naseva soto kiashono tevla. Aluzono teveshene ila halakatea. Sonosea. In grace, loving gratitude for our moon and for all she brings to us. Niaso vashaloko teve. Iaso olaki hiano isote shianala. Mahala. Namaste. Tiakoshe.
Namaste.